Coming off a victory over TCU, the Colorado Buffaloes advance in the Big 12 tournament to take on West Virginia, an All-American candidate, one of the best guards in the country, Javon Small. I think I got to lead with that. For anyone who hasn't been able to tune into West Virginia this season, obviously they have the new coach and Darren DeVries come in. His son comes over from Drake as well, Tucker. He unfortunately has a season-ending shoulder injury, but the transfer that wasn't talked about as much coming into the season, Javon Small has been absolutely incredible for this team. There's moments where he puts this team on his back and single-handedly can will them to victory. He is a special, special player, a special, special guard, and he's had a really, really good season. And West Virginia has some other players that I really like. Obviously, I got to shout out the Big Ten transfers that they have. Amani Hansberry is one of my favorite players at Illinois. I would have loved to see him stick it out there. A 6'8", skilled, kind of below the rim-ish big man. He's got some really good stuff to his game. And over on the other side, they'll be taking on Colorado, who a lot of people, aka me and you, Subi, picked them to lose in the first round of the Big 12 tournament as they came into the Big 12 tournament with only 3 conference wins on the season. So Subi, I'll go to you for your first initial thoughts on this one. Colorado pulling off the upset in the first game over TCU and now advancing to take on West Virginia. What are your first initial thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think you got to start with Small. He's electric. He's had an unbelievable campaign this season. His ability to create off the dribble and to get the defenders off balance is almost second to none, really. And he's just been such an engine and a spark plug. And what I think is most impressive with him, Cart, is that when Tucker went down with that injury, he completely assumed the alpha role.
Yeah.
And I think Darian DeVries is a hell of a coach, and what he's done with this program, getting them to the record that they have, like surviving Big 12 play, is really impressive. And I don't think that they're done here. I don't think that they're done in Kansas City. I think they want more, and I think they understand that the future is super bright um, here. But as it relates to the Mountaineers, they have the ability to get hot from three. I didn't think Colorado had that ability, but they showed it against TCU. They actually shot the ball pretty darn well, did the Buffaloes. But I think West Virginia has been a little bit more consistent from beyond the arc, and they can be streaky from beyond the arc. So I'm looking for that as it pertains to the Mountaineers. I also am a believer in this West Virginia defense. Um, and I think that's going to be able to translate. The only thing I'm a little nervous about, Cart, is that this is one of those games, and like we've done, it's not going to be applicable to every single second round game. But when you have a team like Colorado, how many times do we see like just only 3 wins? They look like garbage in the regular season. It's like the guy who says throw the regular season records out the window might have a field day with this Buffaloes team because they got 1 win under their belt where they looked pretty darn good. Um, Albeit, read into the scoreline however you want, but they looked good against TCU, and now they go up against a West Virginia team that rest versus rust sort of deal. Um, I don't know. This is a tough one, but I do like West Virginia's offensive ability, especially because they're going to have the best player on the floor.
Yeah, and that I think that's going to be the separator in this one, because Javon Small is that good, and I think the thing about West Virginia is they do have other weapons, but the other weapons can kind of be inconsistent. Like the one constant is like Javon Small is going to be incredible, and the thing I'm looking at in this basketball game, I look back to the Colorado TCU matchup. One Colorado I think came out and punched TCU in the mouth, like you stated in the recap. Another thing, though, they only turned the ball over 14 times. And I know I'm saying only 14 times, but for this Colorado team, that is so good. They are literally almost the worst team in the country at taking care of the basketball. They rank 353rd nationally in turnover percentage. On the other hand, this West Virginia defense is a team that's top 100 in forcing turnovers. So this is going to be a game where, not to do the whole like cliche thing for teams that are underdogs, but they need to take care of the basketball and they need to hit 3-pointers. In the first game against TCU, they took care of the basketball to a degree. We'll take 14 turnovers for this Colorado team. You got to grade them on a curve. That's like 7 turnovers for them. And they need to be able to hit shots. And they were able to hit it at a 40% clip when they shoot just around 32% on the season, which is good for 250 nationally. They're going to need to take care of the basketball. They are going to need to hit threes. As I get to that point, I don't think they'll do either of those. So I do like West Virginia in this basketball game. Am I right for saying that Colorado's way to winning this is taking care of the basketball and shooting threes?
Yeah, no, I mean we have they showed that ability a little bit, like you said in that first game, and so you kind of if you're Tad Boyle, you said, look, nothing from November to January, February worked, but this worked here in postseason play. Let's see if we can carry that over. It's a different beast though, going up against this West Virginia team who I don't necessarily know if they're a better defensive team than TCU, but I know for sure that they are a better offensive team. And I think Colorado's performance may have looked a little bit better because they were going up against a TCU team that just can't put the ball in the hole. And they haven't been able to do that all year. That's not the case for the Mountaineers, man. Like they have weapons, and I know you mentioned they can be inconsistent, but they're just streaky. And so again, I just keep coming back to the fact that the Mountaineers have the best player on the floor that I think is going to help guide them. The only other thing I'll mention as it relates to potentially an X factor is a name that we should all be familiar with, and that's Joseph Yesufu. All right, the well-traveled national champion, Joseph Yesufu.
God, he
He
was
had
on
a
that national championship
oh, don't
team.
forget, man. The disrespect. He's a
Uh,
legend in Lawrence, baby.
did he play for DeVries too?
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, actually, he
He
came
was at
right.
yeah, he was at Drake. He played for DeVries.
What's his path? Drake, Kansas.
Drake,
Was
Kansas,
he on
Washington State.
Washington State?
Yeah, Drake, Kansas, Washington State, then West Virginia, I believe.
Well traveled, rambling man. I
What a
forget. I forgot the DeVries connection as well. Anyway, Joseph Yesufu actually had a really good game last time out against the Buffaloes. I think he can replicate that here in this game. So I'm going to take the Mountaineers slightly because of just the playmakers. Cart and honestly, like it kind of backfired in terms of my logic in the Colorado TCU game. But again, at the end of the day, this is a Colorado team that now has 4 conference wins, if you want to count the last one against TCU, 2 of them coming against TCU. Man, I'm going to be a hater. Like, Colorado, I challenge you. Like you know how who was it? Was it 50 who was like Floyd Mayweather? I challenge you to read a
read a
book of
book.
a yeah. Like I challenge you, Colorado, to beat someone other than TCU. Go beat West Virginia.
I thought you were gonna hit me with that Michael Urban. Like, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do with the moment right now? It might be that. And I think honestly, the last thing that I want to bring up about this game, I trust Tad Boyle in like a tournament setting, I think,
Mm.
more than I trust DeVries. I don't know if it's that last Drake first round loss. Didn't they lose to Miami last time they were in the tournament?
That's
They were,
so
they were
so that
terrible.
dude, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of Drake backers the last couple of years that Darian DeVries has really pissed off.
Yeah, and that's still him in there somewhere. So that's the one little inkling I have there that I worry about. But to your point, you look at the first matchup. Obviously, Javon Small was incredible. He had 26 points in that game, 7 assists to 1 turnover as well. They got the production from Jonathan Powell. Yesufu had 18 in that game, like you mentioned. They lost that game by 8 earlier in the year at home at Colorado. They were 6 for 19 from three. So that kind of points to what they did. They're going to have to be able to hit, I think, at minimum 10 threes, 9 threes to give themselves a chance in this basketball game. But that's only to give themselves a chance. I don't think that's going to happen. I actually think this game will be close. I do think there
Mhm.
is a little bit of like Colorado just play, carry that momentum, big win over TCU, Tad Boyle, and whatever you want to call that. Like Tad Boyle has some voodoo I don't even know about, but I'm going to go. Let's see. Oh, by the way, KenPom has this as a West Virginia win 67-62. I kind of like with that 5 point range. I'm gonna take West Virginia to win this game. Let's go 70 to 60, 70 to 67. 70 to 67. Colorado has a chance to win it at the end, and you get an awful shot from somebody from three that comes nowhere close. But we will be here on the Sleepers Media YouTube channel to recap it once that game happens. All Big 12 tournament previews and recaps over here on the Sleepers Media YouTube channel with myself, Cardelli, and my guy, Subi. Be sure to check us out. We got y'all covered for everything Big 12 tournament over here on Sleepers Media YouTube channel.